look at this. Do you remember me showing you how this tomato was only this high? Now look at it. They're growing and they're starting to put out lots of flowers. I even have a few that are starting to form fruit. And come to see this. The Australian winter peas are making more peas. Look. We have tried some and they do taste like sugar snap peas. But they need to be nice and plump, so we'll see if we can find one. Is this one good? About. That's yummy. Let's go see if there's more on the other side. See, this is that row that I planted for fun. Out in the rain, I planted a bunch of soybeans and marigolds. Pretty violas. And lots of bolted cilantro. I'm just letting it go because I think it's pretty. Those are tasty. Oh, there's quite a few over here. Yummy. I definitely am going to do more of these next year. Yeah, the plumper they are, the better they are. They're really starting to put out some fruit now. My tomatoes are doing fabulous. I haven't had any pests on them. I had one plant that had a little bit of aphids, but that was easy to just squish and I got rid of them. Other than that, nothing. I had a bit of sign of damage on one with even some droppings of some sort of pest. Looked everywhere, couldn't find it. I've been getting tons of birds in my garden too. And I think they're also helping out because they can come over and perch on these panels here and look for bugs. And it works well. Borage is looking very healthy. I've got some of them are starting to get a bit of blight. You see? Blight on plants kind of looks like a little bullseye. I'll pluck that off later. I like to use scissors or something. Borage is very prickly. But anytime I see some sort of fungus going on my plants, I just pick off the sick parts. And that's been going well, and it seems like it's not spreading. Most of the tomatoes are doing great. I don't see any signs of early blight. So I'll be really keeping an eye out for those ones. And if they keep doing well, I will definitely be saving seeds from them. This is coming along nicely. The jarandels are climbing. I've been needing to come out here morning and evening to pick off squash beetles. There haven't been very many on this plant here because I think, you know, it being camouflaged a little bit and mixed in with other things is helping. This one over here, I've had so many of those lady squash beetles. And so yeah, every morning and every evening I just come and check on everything to make sure to pick off any new ones. See, I see one over here climbing around. Oh, she fell. They will often fall like that to try to get away. I saw one marmoladed squash beetle here, but I got rid of them. I haven't had any eggs yet, no larvae. So these lady squash beetles are coming from somewhere else, maybe my neighbor's garden. The larvae of a lady squash beetle are very easy to spot. They're these oval-shaped, prickly-looking, orange slug-like things, and they're very squishy. I don't want to squish them with my hands. It's gross, so I usually use a leaf or something. But they're easy to see. And I had not seen any of those, so these lady squash beetles are coming from somewhere else. But I think, as long as I stay on top of it. What on earth is that over there? Oh, that's Maro. Maro, what are you doing over there? She's sneaking her way over to the pond. These ones are just doing fabulous. This is the black cherry. And this one's that little tiny cherry. I've got to look up the name of it. I have it somewhere. Their leaves are much different, you know, and their stalks are thinner, and they've produced tons of them. And lots of little flowers. Oh, that's an egg. I don't know if you can see this little dot right here. Some pest that I don't need. Don't know which one this is. When those tomato hornworms come out, I'll show you how to identify the eggs. It's pretty easy. Once you get the hang of it, you'll be able to spot them pretty quick. And spotting them when they first hatch, their damage. Seeing the damage on your plant is always evidence that you have a tomato hornworm. This is the Odessa squash, and it looks like it's finally starting to take out shoots here and start climbing. You see? I was getting a little worried that it wasn't going to climb, even though the packet of seeds said that it was a climber. So, I'm happy to see that. I got my smaller ones on this side, some marigolds. These here are foxgloves. My collards are still going. I'm just going to let them go. You see this hairy vetch is starting to die back. And I had 2 more birdhouse gourds pop up, so it's perfect. Now I'm going to have 4 to put. I like to put 1 on each corner here on these arches. And here's these potatoes. I'm telling you, they are doing great. And I was looking at these flowers. I think the flowers are just falling off on their own. There's nothing removing them. It's probably just the process. So you see, they're doing great. See, these carrots are going wild here. Got some random hairy vetch here or something. I have 1 carrot over here that's starting to flower, and I love when they do because it's just so beautiful. Look. They kind of look like a Queen Anne's lace, don't they? It's because they're related. But I love it. Those carrots will all start bolting, and I'll be able to save seeds and use those for the fall. You see these? I've got a bunch of garlic out here. This is my wild row. I haven't done much with this row. In September, when we harvest all of this garlic, we're going to be removing this row completely and taking the dirt and putting it on the mounds next to it. Because this is going to be our walkway. And I'd love to get some pebbles. And that way we have a nice little pebble walkway, and then, of course, some Dutch clover on the sides. And this will be our main walkway to the chicken house. Nathan is going to take out a section of cattle panel here and a section right here. That way we have a nicer, straighter run to get around the garden. Right now, some areas are a little bit crowded. And that will be great to have a nice, easy access to the chicken coop and easier to get around the garden. Okay, here, this is either a cricknut squash or a zucchini. I'm not sure. I didn't mark them. But this is some of the way I kind of mixed things up, is I put a squash in between. This guy here, it's been doing good. I've got all this wild strawberry here growing around it. Oh, looks like I got 1 carrot too. This row here has been doing great. You see, I've got this ground cover here that I was telling y'all in my last garden tour, called the Decandra repens. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but it looks like a lily pad. It's just growing out here naturally, and it's kind of creeping up onto the beds, and I'm just letting it go. It doesn't get very high. I got seeds for that plant, and I went ahead and put it out here as well, so that we can get it growing. The Long Island cheese are growing. Look at this. Looking good. Can't wait for them to start climbing. See, I've got more of this stuff here. This row here is very mixed up. You see, I've got some tomatoes next to some brassicas and garlic. And I've got some peanuts in here and a few peppers. Yeah, see, there's a little pepper. They're going good. You see all these bird droppings everywhere. Birds have been all over the place out here. And I'm just letting all my brassicas go. I just like them. Oh, I see. A little helper. You see him? Hey, little friend. This is a rutabaga here. These beans are starting to go. I can't wait for this thing to be covered in them. Come see this though, over here in the turkey coop. They're letting trees and things grow, which I think is great. It's getting all wild. You see that? Little trees. I'll just let them go and get them to get so tall, and that way they have shade. This is a pokeweed right here. We have these everywhere. We've got like a forest of it out in the wild woods. These are those little cherry tomatoes I decided to just let go. They're actually not getting all viney as much as I thought they would. They're getting more tall. Kind of interesting. These are my Asian persimmon trees here. I've got this one and this one here. This one would be a lot bigger, except I put it in a smaller pot. I didn't have a bigger one. They're going to be going out in my pumpkin patch area. We're going to be working on that this week. That's going to be its own video. But I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to look great. It's my peach hibiscus here. I had to bring this plant in during the winter. It can't handle weather below like 40 degrees. But it came back. I wasn't sure at first. I need to get a bigger pot for it though, so I just haven't found one that I like. And these are all my backup tomatoes. They're looking good. I'll probably put them in bigger pots soon. These are my Georgia rattlesnake watermelons. And I'm excited for these to start taking off. And I'm really hoping to be successful with watermelons this year. They've always exploded on me. It just gets so hot out here in the south. I've got this basil down here. I've got a lot more of it in the greenhouse. I'm working out just putting it out and mixing it in as much as possible. I'd like every tomato to have a basil next to it. These 2 rows we've been working on. Lily helped me. We were able to put out all the tobacco. Here's one. These are some more Odessa squashes. They're looking a little bit hot, aren't they? I've got a mixture of Perique tobacco and Southern Beauty. So I've got my Perique on this row here, and it goes all the way, a little halfway. And then I have some Southern Beauty over up front, and then over in another section. The Perique is supposed to be a great blend with other tobaccos, and we'll be able to make a good blend for Nathan since he does like to smoke his pipe. These open pollinated mushroom baskets, I was remembering that they were next to a pink jazz. And I also think I had Kellogg's breakfast in there somewhere. I did keep, in fact, I have a Kellogg's breakfast out here somewhere that was open pollinated. I don't know which one it is. But these guys are doing great. So if you see, these 2 rows are my beefsteaks. I've kind of separated everything into categories. So I've got my beefsteaks over here. These 2 rows are my paste tomatoes. I have my Juliet paste, and then I have the open pollinated pastes that I think are going to be a cross between an Amish paste and a hybrid determinant. So we'll see what we get. And I am seeing some that I do think that look like determinate tomatoes to me. This whole section here are all my lemon blushes. I like to use those for salsas. Now the reason why I did that is because I'm fine with things cross-pollinating. I still want to have paste tomatoes, I still want to have beefsteaks, and I still would like to have the kind of tomatoes that I like to use for salsas. So I guess in the lemon blush situation, since I just have lemon blush, I don't think they'll be, you know, cross-pollinating necessarily with anything else. But you never know. I'm going to try to collect seeds from areas that are the furthest from a different variety. Now the paste ones, I've got the Juliet, and then I have the open pollinated ones I collected from last year. So those will probably do some crossing, and we'll see what we get. And of course, the beefsteaks. I've got a few brandy wines that made it and didn't get all sick with blight. Then I've got my open pollinated mushroom baskets, and I've got a few open pollinated Kellogg's breakfasts. So that will be kind of cool to see what we get out of that. We'll just have to wait and see. This will be my first year collecting all my tomato seeds, and that's pretty much what I'll grow next year. And hopefully that goes well. So my poor eggplants got massacred by those flea beetles. Look at this. Isn't that sad? That's the only one I have left. I had 4 of them. I don't think that one will really make it. It's pretty sad. I did start more seeds, but you know, it's going to be a little while. They're just starting to pop up. So I went ahead and grabbed a couple eggplants from the store. Just 2 of them, because goodness gracious, plants have gone up. I think they were almost $6 per eggplant. It's like, it's crazy. So here, I got this eggplant, and I haven't had any fleas beetles go after them. I got a marigold to put next to them. I don't know if that lemonine they produce will be effective against flea beetles. We'll see. And then I also put a thyme plant in here, along with the basil. So, hoping the smells of all those together will keep those flea beetles off of them. And so far, I haven't seen one flea beetle on them. And look, we're getting fruit. Lots of fruit. I have a feeling this one is going to be very prolific. And look at this. We'll leave that guy through. So many. That's going to be fun. And look at this. I have a random corn growing here. This is more squash here. We also mixed in a bunch of okra in over there with the tobacco, because this row here, you know, it was a bit barren because I had the crimson clover and Australian winter peas out here. So I went ahead and we filled it in, and it should start coming in nicely. Got different okras, you see. Then have your tomatoes here. This is another bolted cilantro. This guy's doing good. This peanut's growing. And this is a random potato that popped up from last year. There's another tobacco here. Uh-oh, I see something. Look, that's a little army worm. Yeah, see a little damage here? That's my first one. So if you see how I could tell that there was something eating my plant is there's evidence. And a lot of times too, you'll see the bug droppings. So I'll be looking for that more and more. I'm hoping with the help of the good bugs in the garden, plus all of my frogs, snakes, birds, can help me keep it under control this year. Oh, hey squash beetle, what are you doing over here? Sneaky. Because last year we got overrun. Hoping to just stay on top of it and catch them early and not have that issue this year. I love these sunflowers. These are all the ones that just were volunteers. The violas down here. This is a stevia growing up right here, and the tobacco. I really love mixing things up. It's just fun. I like the way it looks. These sunflowers back here are just getting so tall. Oh. Little ladybug up there. Yeah, they're quite a bit taller than me now. And it's great to be able to weave them through, because these big ones, like I think this is a type of mammoth that probably crossed with the other variety that I had, possibly. So we'll see what they do and how tall they get. But those mammoths can get massive and sometimes too heavy and come down on themselves. So I've been trying to weave the ones that are closer through as much as possible. Tobacco down here, and got an okra, basil, viola, and our tomato. And a bolted brassica. It's making its little seed pods, you see that? I wanted to show you these really big, beautiful borrages that are growing. I think it's the white variety. This thing. It worked well to start my borage the same time that I started my tomatoes. I'm going to do that again next year, and I'll do even more. I went ahead and started a bunch more, but they'll be on the smaller side. But still, you know, it's nice because borage can survive some frosts. So I'll see if I can keep it going. Look at that. He's got pollen all over him. Those honeybees love this borage, don't they? But yes, this one and then this one just gotten so big. And they've been staying healthy too. We'll see, anything that I see sick, like I said earlier, I'll just kind of take off and remove it. And try to slow down that process. Because last year my borage did get sick, and it looks like some type of blight to me. It has like a bullseye, but it must be a different type of blight than what we get on our tomatoes. Lots of things can get blight, but there's different kinds. Sunflowers will get it as well. I'm gonna weave you through, don't we? I went ahead and put tomatoes on these trellises as well, just for fun. I know that these pink eyes are supposed to be semi-climbers, so we'll see how they go. I can probably keep things tamed and under control. We'll see. I just wanted to get more cherry tomatoes out here. So I've got some cherry tomatoes in this section. And I went ahead and put tomato here, here, and here. This is where my melons will kind of cascade over. That's the goal anyway. I've been having Lily, when she cleans out a rabbit cage, she's been putting that down on my melons for me. I hope they really start taking off. But they seem to be doing fine, getting enough sun. And then by the time I would say 2 o'clock rolls around, it's nice and shady over here. So hopefully that's enough sun for them, but not too much. We'll just kind of see how it goes. These grapes are just going. Look at that. Nathan came up here with a ladder and kind of tied some up with some twine to help them get up there quicker. Some are not quite long enough yet, but that's what we'll do with these as well. Blackberries are really going. Got so many new shoots out here. I have enough now to really finish the section over here. We'll go check on them too. But I need to get more mulch. Getting lots of flowers here. Getting to see some berries form here. That's gonna be fun. Let's go check on those blackberries. These are all the little shoots I took up. So I just need to work on getting it to go all the way down. And all the way over to the elderberries. I think these elderberries have gotten taller since I showed them to you last. My small little raspberry patch here. I think next year I'll start taking more shoots and start expanding that as well. This one got huge. It's tall. Jeez. Huh. I wonder if we'll get any raspberries this year. I see some flowers. Honeysuckles. When I was a kid, we had a big trellis just full of honeysuckles. One day, I just got a big old bowl of them and I drank all the juice out of them. And it made me so sick that ever since then, I'm just like, I don't know. I want to like them again. I mean, they have a sweetness to them. But yeah, it always reminds me of that day. These
see how tall those blackberries are?
Huge.
They're touching that tree's
It's
branch.
gotten big. Yeah, everything's gotten huge this year. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go inside and cool off. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take care, and we'll see you next time.